I myself, and probably a lot of the Arknights veteran player base, saw that initial Enfield gameplay footage and didn't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. The only reason we even downloaded this thing is because we got baited. Seeing characters we've loved for years, like Aurora and Aja, finally walking around in high fidelity was the ultimate trap. But after sinking way too many miserable hours into Talos 2, I have to be honest, they completely scrubbed the actual Arknights DNA right out of this game. The OG game was a miserable, depressing fight for survival. Enfield traded all that terror depression for a polished mass-market RPG where the endmin gets glazed by every single NPC. It feels like a high-budget product that completely lost its soul. The core loop is basically just popping chests for pocket change gacha currency and garbage weapons, or collecting shiny orbs for a stamina system that shouldn't even exist. Think about it, running outside of combat costs absolutely nothing. You only need stamina to dodge during fights, and you're never just sprinting around while taking aggro. It's just shoehorned bloat because every open-world game apparently has to have it. I wasn't even shocked when the clickbait articles started dropping. You know, the trustworthy experts claiming Enfield is just a desperate Genshin clone, but I'm not here to yap about surface-level clone complaints. I want to look at this game through the eyes of an OG veteran, someone who actually knows what this franchise is supposed to represent. And the real tragedy isn't that they copied the exploration loop, it's that in chasing that casual money, they scrubbed away the game's entire identity. Instead of a true sequel, we got whatever this is. So today, I just want to yap about how a tactical masterpiece mutated into just another safe corporate 3D RPG. We're looking into the soft, child-friendly story, the aggressively dumbed-down combat, and a messy monetization system that disrespects your time. And we'll cover how, against all odds, the only things keeping this thing installed on my PC are the top-tier waifu and a base building loop that turns you into a miserable Amazon warehouse manager. Honestly, where Endfield really drops the ball is the story and the overall vibe. If you're an OG fan, you're going to seriously miss that heavy, depressing atmosphere. The whole crew here, they're way too chill, way too clean. They act less like hardened operators and more like kids in a high school drama. Take this robot, for example. It's basically just a toaster running standard AI with emoji faces, and it sacrifices itself to seal a hole. It's a smart fridge executing a subroutine. Yet the writers try to force this massive emotional reaction, demanding we treat it like a Greek tragedy. It's so forced it hurts. In the original game, we were dealing with war crimes, racial persecution, and rock cancer. Real stakes where people died because society rejected them. Now, we're supposed to shed tears because a Roomba bricked itself. It feels like they're just playing hero in a sanitized playground instead of fighting for their lives in a dying world. Even the Blight, which the lore hypes up as this unbeatable apocalypse, is just a minor annoyance in gameplay. It's basically just a spicy puddle you walk around. And the villains? Absolutely wasted. They have killer designs and voice acting, but they just stand in one spot waiting for you to walk into their aggro zone. They don't feel like a threat. They're just static roadblocks waiting to be farmed. The script is painfully soft. You can predict exactly who has plot armor and exactly what's going to happen next. If you've played Genshin or Wuthering Waves, you already know the drill here. Wander a massive map doing brain-dead puzzles for crumbs of gacha currency and weapons you'll literally never use. But honestly, I can kinda look past the boring exploration because Enfield looks seriously top tier. The sheer amount of detail in the scenery is stunning, and the atmospheric music that kicks in while you're wandering around perfectly captures that classic Arknights vibe. It is undeniably a beautiful game. Hypergriff clearly blew the entire dev budget, making these operators look absolutely gorgeous. Seriously, check out the insane detail on this green onion girl in Wuling. The lighting, the cloth physics, it screams that anyone who isn't a generic NPC is 100% going to be playable. They are doing everything humanly possible to make sure you're ready to swipe your card on her banner. Which brings us to the money situation. Look, I get it. Hypergriff blew a massive budget making this game look next-gen, so obviously they need to make that development money back. But compared to the OG game, the monetization here just feels actively hostile. Back in the day, you could farm gacha currency right in your base and buy skins just by clearing stages. In Enfield, the free income is completely choked out. Throw in a battle pass and a messy layered gacha system, and they are definitely squeezing the player base way harder. The one saving grace is that you can apparently beat the game using the free story characters. If the game actually rewards skill over just swiping a credit card, I'm all for it. We'll just have to see if that holds up when the endgame difficulty spikes. Now, the actual game changer, the factory. I've seen people complain that optimizing this factory eats up 70% of their playtime, and they aren't wrong. It is a massive min-max trap. But honestly, I don't care if people say they copied Factorio's homework. The point is they added a real gameplay loop instead of just a new way to milk our wallets. Major props for that. So why the hell are we slaving over conveyor belts like Amazon warehouse workers? Because you actually have to use this junk to supply the local outposts. Whether you're trying to play the hero, or just feeding some local gangsters or whatever is it, they actually baked this whole system into the story surprisingly well. At first, I thought this was going to be like Fallout, where you custom build your own settlements piece by piece. You don't get to do that here. But the outposts do visibly upgrade as you feed them. Set up huge mining rigs, run raw ore through shredders, and churn out stuff, batteries and explosives. Ship it off, and they pay you in stock bills to buy high-tier materials. It creates this insanely addictive loop where your factory funds your exploration, and your exploration feeds your factory. And if you absolutely refuse to do that, you can literally just copy a blueprint code from some gigabrain player online, paste it in, and instantly drop a fully optimized megabase. It's a lifesaver. One thing they actually nailed is the gear system. Gear crafted in the factory comes with guaranteed stats. You can finally stop agonizing over weeks of mind-numbing grinding just to get trash RNG on your main gear pieces. There's still the essence system, which sounds like more BS RNG, but it's actually totally manageable. You buy tickets to boost your chances, and it only took me about 5 runs to lock in the exact stat I needed. The real grind is just feeding the essence to level it up. But the absolute genius part of the factory is the turrets. You can drop down a bunch of turrets and literally AFK the encounter, just like OG Arknights auto-deploy. Set it up, let it cook, and go touch grass. It's a beautiful thing. Combat-wise, I'm pretty bummed about the direction they took. They throw all 4 of your operators on the screen at the same time, which sounds great on paper if you just want to stare at your waifu and appreciate the rear view. But mechanically, you will see people online hyping it up, comparing the party system to Xenoblade or Dragon's Dogma. Don't buy into it. Honestly, the combat feels way closer to the floaty, spongy of Dragon Age, the Veilguard. They clearly aren't trying to please the hardcore tacticians. They went straight for the casual crowd. The OG game actually punished your mistakes. You had to use your brain, perfectly place your operators, and solve actual stage mechanics. Here, they totally dumbed it down. It is basically just attackers and supporters. Half the time it feels like a mindless button-mashing fest until you memorize the specific combo chains. Sure, there's some strategy in figuring out those chains, and don't get me wrong, it is definitely more complex than any of the Zelda clones out there. But after a while, the combat just feels incredibly repetitive. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it is the worst game ever made. It is not. But it is a corporate product wearing an Arknights skin suit that dropped the ball for chasing money. If you are a veteran who spent years big-braining contingency contract max risks, perfectly timing deployments and actually engaging with the grim reality of Terra, this game is going to break your heart. They traded our tactical depth for casual button mashing. Who is this game actually for? It is for the casual crowd who just wants to turn their brain off, build some automated factories, and stare at fully rendered 3D waifu. And honestly, I'm one of them because I kinda enjoy the game. Anyway, that is enough yapping for one day. I'm gonna go physically touch a blade of grass right now, just to legally invalidate the 50 comments about to tell me to do exactly that. Catch you guys in the next one.